on to League One Women's from Barton Park, St George FC versus Marconi, round 15.
Go, ref! Oh. Turn! Take it. We've got to go long. Well done, Susanna. What do we got left? 5 minutes, is it? Thank you. Oh, sorry, buddy. Follow. It's done. It's walk back well, you know. Yeah, look, it's every week. Last week, what did we have? 26 or 28 shots of goal. Last week. Go around him. Around us. Go long!
Hurry up!
Go long! Quick one! Quick one down the line. Emma.
Oh, Linesman.
She'll be proud of me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No.
Good evening, everyone, and after a slight delay, welcome to the Football New South Wales League One Women's Match of the Round for Round 15. Thanks for joining us here on our YouTube channel, and a battle set to commence between two teams and have had an excellent start to the season. Very much contenders in this division. It's St George FC hosting Marconi Stallions at Barton Park. Eric Subihano with the commentary, and yes, an exciting one, another exciting one in this wonderful division. And for St George, by the way, usual kits for these two teams. St George in the white kits with the white jerseys with the red shorts, and Marconi, who've gone back to their traditional colours of the all sky blue kit. A brief shout out to the three match officials. So in the centre with the whistle is the Hillshire's own Gabriella Archidiacono. The assistant closest to us will be Amber Morris. The assistant on the far side will be Mariano Yana. And as Mariano and Amber check the nets, let's run through the lineups. Firstly, for St George FC, in goal is number 1, Emilia Vidakovic. Then number 3, Danielle Rutstein. Number 4, Nicole Beige. Number 6, Tara Palmer. Number 7, Taylor Kvetkovsky. Number 8, Abby Rose Cryer. Number 9, Jordan Baker, the captain. Number 10, Janan Kodmani. Number 13, Lauren Johnson. Number 15, Genevieve Russo. And number 74, a new signing after the conclusion of her A-League women duties with Canberra United. She is Ivana Galic, and yes, she is related to Bianca Galic of Central Coast Mariners fame. Meanwhile, St George FC coached by Mark Greenfield. And for Marconi Stallions, their lineup is as follows. Number 1, the goalkeeper, Isabella Solicito. Then number 2, Shelby Milton. Number 4, the captain, Daniela Brekic. Number 6, Sarah Urquhart. Number 8, Marie Herrera. Number 10, Hannah Tomalic. Number 11, Helena Daniele. Number 15, Ashley Limnios. Number 16, their top scorer, Penny Bonavas. Number 18, Laura Malagonavila. And number 25, Talia Kupcharic. And Marconi Stallions coached by Parramatta Power legend Michael Beecham. So we did have a result already for round 15. It was the game played yesterday down on the south coast, and it is... I'm not sure what the opposite of nominative determinism is, but the Demons couldn't handle the furnace. South Coast Flame defeating Blacktown City by 2-1 at Ian McLennan Oval. And right on cue, there's the whistle from Gabriella Archidiacono. Away we go. Marconi attacking the goal to our left. And yes, Marconi, after some more mid-table finishes in recent seasons, entering this match in third position, doing a very good job. St George FC in sixth place, but only 4 points behind their opponents for today. And lots to play for over the remaining 12 rounds of this competition. This is Galic getting an early touch. And Kvetkovsky. Played back to Nicole Beige, and she's going to be under pressure from Kupcharic, who might have stolen it. Indeed she has. And Beige has won the free kick. So it is Vidakovic who will... I thought she was going to take the free kick, but she'll leave it instead for Beige. And back underway here, as I think it was Kupcharic trying to win it back, but instead it's with Limnios. Now that'll be Lauren Johnson. Back to Galic. Down the line, but I think that'll just be watched. It'll go out of play. Now, so I'm going to build the context of the remainder of this season. The task for these two teams, and for quite a few others, is to chase the league leaders, Hills United, leading the league on 34 points. SD Raiders in second place on 31 points. Then, as I said, Marconi on 26, followed by Central Coast Mariners Academy on 23 points, as are South Coast Flame, and then St George in sixth on 22 points. At St George FC, led by their top scorer, as this hold I thought as a shot comes in and lands on the roof of the net. But yes, the Saints, led by their top scorer and their captain, Jordan Baker, who already has scored 21 goals for the campaign. Can you believe that? Across league and cup. And Baker having another excellent season. And they've certainly got the firepower to climb up the table. St. George, the highest scorers in the league, with 51 in the league so far. Well ahead of any other League One women's team in terms of goal scoring. And to add to that, just a small matter of 13 goals in their Sapphire Cup campaign as well. As Marconi win the throw. Now Bonavas getting the shouts. Instead, St. George will leave it, and Galic back to Vidakovic. And Vidakovic getting a couple of touches. Now, close to an intercept, and then having some adventures playing out from the back are St. George. It's going to be Kupcheric. And now, in that corner, and there we go. I'd say with my aging eyes, I'm glad to see that we've suddenly got more light at this venue. As the cross comes in, Galic trying to shepherd, and Vidakovic needs a couple of goes, but she does fall on the ball. And St. George trying to play out from the back, and Kupcheric, who is quite quick. I remember I did witness that in the round 10 match of the round, Marconi versus SD Raiders. But meanwhile, at the other end, Daniel Rothstein has stayed on side, and this could be a big early chance. Here's Rothstein, and it's an excellent save from Solacito, positioning for 3/4 of the battle. If you're a goalkeeper, Solacito will please the Marconi goalkeeping coaches with that. Stood up as long as she could, made a very crucial save, and the first corner of the game is coming up. Going to the host. The signal and the delivery from Johnson. Keepers up, and Solacito following that excellent one-on-one save up with a nice pair of hands. Of course. Now, Barton Park, if you're unfamiliar with this venue, well, we'll definitely be able to hear that through the effects mic, because some venues are on the flight path. Barton Park is on the runway, but we will do our best. And to be honest, there'll be a lot of long-time Football New South Wales YouTube watchers who will be glad that there's something that can finally drown out my voice. But as the ball is down the line to Limnios. Marconi do well to prevent the cross. Yes, and just as we might as well quickly mention the other games in this round. It's SD Raiders, by the way, second place team who have the bye for this round 15. But the other games, which would, the other 4 games that I haven't yet mentioned for round 15, kicked off, scheduled for 5 p.m., so a slightly earlier kickoff for them, but I suppose you could call this one the Costantini Cup, but it's Spartans versus Bankstown City at Spartan Park. We also have Nepean versus Sutherland and their star signing Kirsty Fenton at Cook Park in St Mary's, and Interlions hosting the league leaders Hills United at Majors Bay Reserve, and finally we've got a full bank of lights here. That's a relief. And finally we rounding off the action up at Lismore on the Central Coast, it's Central Coast Mariners hosting Camden Tigers. I do also welcome anyone who might have switched over to this game. We thank you for your support of League One Women's and the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, as Kudmani tries to shield it on the far side of the field, but that's good defending from Shelby Milton. Yes, a couple of early kickoffs in the top tier, NPL Women's New South Wales, and the 2:40 p.m. kickoff at Northbridge. It was a case of, it was like a remake of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, because Bulls captain Liz Gray scored twice. Bulls FC Academy winning by 2-0 over Mount Druitt. And that's two teams that actually were very recently promoted from this division to the top tier. And in the NPL Women's Match of the Round, the 3 p.m. kickoff at Linwood Park. It was MacArthur Rams 1, RPL Leichhardt 2. If you haven't seen it already, MacArthur's goal, a bicycle kick from the youngster Taya Masensky, and therefore that completes my obligatory Mel Keith shout-out for this game. Taya Masensky, one of the many players in our women's comps who's been coached by futsal super coach Mel Keith. She's also a referee as well, so she's a very busy young woman, is Taya. But I think the big story for RPL Leichhardt, a goal from Sophie Hoban, but the winner coming from their captain Ashley Crofts, which makes it 100 goals across first grade and Sapphire Cup for Ashley Crofts, and we congratulate her because that's an incredible achievement. But anyway, back to this one. As the through ball is aimed, Rutstein trying to sneak in behind again. Solicido has good starting position and gathers that fairly comfortably before rolling it out to her captain Brekic, who has to hurry and in fact is beaten to the punch by Limnios. And Marconi win it back. Baker was looking for the through ball. Kodmani saw the option, but it was blocked. Now, far side. Kupchurich, well, and Nicole Besh was already had the hand up claiming offside even before the through ball was played, but it doesn't matter because it runs through to Vidakovic. Now, Palmer can't reel it in, and the shot, well, is blocked before Garlich goes sideways. Now, Kupchurich chases. Good tackle from Bež. And Herrera finding Hanna Tomalic. Tumble, and the ref sees nothing untoward. Strong tackle there. Rutstein, I think she wants another through ball. Instead, they'll go wide, and Lauren Johnson, who's quite the speedster herself, lots of grass in front of her. Trying to find the runner at the far post, which was Baker. And, well, there's a long-range shot coming in, and I think it could take a deflection. Now, that has gone out of play, so a second corner of the game for the hosts. Decent effort from Limnios, couldn't keep it in play. Also, apologies, I reckon I got... Yes, and Lauren Johnson just being informed, yes, it is a corner. Apologies, I think I've got my 15s confused early on. Apologies, number 15 for St. George's, Genevieve Russo. There we go. There's the other KPI, a really needless mistake in my commentary. Anyway, Johnson to deliver. I think Garlich couldn't head it. Chance for Baker. Hits the side netting. She wants a corner, and she's going to get it. So, back-to-back corners for the hosts. It's a good start to this one. Eric Subihana here with the commentary from Barton Park. 11 minutes played. 0-0 between St. George FC and Marconi Stallions. It's 6th versus 3rd in the League One Women's Match of the Round. As I think Baker just getting rid of a second ball that had strayed onto the pitch. So for Marconi, everyone's back except Kupchurich. She'd be looking to pounce on any counter-attacking opportunities that may come as a result of this set piece. But first, Marconi's first job, obviously, to see this situation out. Baker delivers, and to the far post end, lands on the roof of the net. Decent amount of swerve on that one. It did look like Solicido had that one covered. Palmer loses out. And then St. George won it back. Baker tried the through ball. This time it is swept up. Now Kvetkovski, back to Johnson. And there you go. Now it's with Beige, and she crosses halfway. Palmer, option on the left. I think that's Abby Rose Cryer. And the cross comes in. Baker's interested in it. It is cleared. And Russo, and then further backwards passing so to Garlich, who can face forward. Decent ball to Rutstein. Baker wants the through ball. Not make pass, but Baker possibly not expecting that. Lets it go astray, and is Garlich across on the cover. Brekic loops one to Limnios. And now is Bonavas. Kupcharic. This is the situation dealt with by Beige. Limnios. Now Kupcharic, followed by Garlich. And Garlich does well, holds it up. Finding a teammate, but Johnson might have lost out here. And the decision has gone the way of the home side to the consternation of the visitors, shall we say. And that's well, it's going to be uncontested drop ball. Inadvertent touch off the referee. Now up and cushion header from Beige. Kvetkovski dances past the challenge. And possibly another one, but the foul is committed. His fault, though. The foul is called against Brekic. Garlich going long as the flick on. Russo as couldn't find a teammate. Now, you can tell it's mid-season. You can tell it's June. I'm sure you would have seen on the far side of the pitch. There's a lot of blankets out there. I don't blame him. As Marconi start to play out from the back. Tomlich immediately under pressure. Can't link up. By the way, if you're a longer time follower of this competition, yes, Hannah Tomlich, formerly known as Hannah Volota. Yes, plenty of blankets on both benches. Actually, plenty of blankets in the grandstand here as well. The Frank Arrock stand, I learned today as I was driving in. Of course, Frank Arrock, a St. George FC and Socceroos coaching legend. His nickname was Mad Dog, which probably tells you all you need to know about his approach. And it worked very well for all the teams that he led over the years. Throw in. Does not reach Kodmani. Now Tomlich with a touch for Marconi. The ball aimed at Kupcharic. Good use of the body from Beige. It's Beige going long. Good run from Baker. Sneaking between defenders. And Baker has an option. Tries the ball to Rutstein. Good keeping from Solachita. And the flag was up anyway. Rutstein had moved just a little bit too early. Still, Solachita was alert as she needed to be there. Touch from Johnson. battles against Daniele. That's with St. George. Played back to Vidakovic. Now, Johnson. Good move, and then the ball. It's very good for Kodmani. So, just in time on the cover for Marconi is Shelby Milton. Now, Solachita, well, wasn't sure. Just didn't want to take any risks with potentially picking up a back pass. In the end, decides safety first. Back to Garlich. Gets past the challenge. Towards Baker. And Baker wanted to let it drop, but Marconi too sharp and very wise defending to not let Jordan Baker shoot from the edge of the box. If you're the multi-screening type, there's 3 other women's streams available for you on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. It's the 3 top division games, the 3 NPL Women's New South Wales games that kicked off at about 5 p.m. As the cross comes in, and Brekic is there to clear. And there's another clearance, which St. George can just watch. St. George can just, actually, no. That, I think that's going to go back for a free kick to St. George, maybe some late contact. Oh, sorry, free kick to Marconi, some late contact on the player who cleared that. But yes, there's three NPL women's games being played concurrently to this one. Yeah, on the Northern Beaches, our Hunter Valley friend Ashley Borg is making his first trip to Cromer Park to call Manly United versus Western Sydney Wanderers Academy. There's also Sydney Olympic versus Gladesville Ravens at Petermore Field. Good to see that venue's not washed out. And also, on the new hybrid pitch at Sydney University, it's Sydney Uni up against Illawarra Stingrays. Vidakovic decides to aim for the longer ball towards Johnson, and it's good defending from Daniele. And Limnios is fouled by Johnson. Brekic gets on with it, and Johnson has to scramble back into position. Daniele crosses. Koptrich couldn't get the touch he needed. Now, St. George. And Kodmani, what a pass for Rutstein. And she could be away once again with Milton in pursuit. It's Rutstein, and it's a wonderful finish to give St. George the lead. And how about the ball from Janan Kodmani, the number 10 for St. George with a 10 out of 10 pass. Daniel Rutstein provides the finish, and it's St. George 1, Marconi 0. Just past the 20-minute mark. It was absolutely delightful football from the hosts. And a quick turnover. Rutstein's threatened already. She's shown her speed. Kodmani found the angle to play the ball between defenders, and Rutstein, via the inside of the post, has given St. George a 1-0 advantage. And they'll be a good company man. Just a reminder, Brekic playing that forward. Of course, keep an eye out for the League One Women's Round 15 review. It'll be available on the Football New South Wales League's socials later today. As there's another through ball, and Kodmani timed the run. Chance for 2. Kodmani, and then possibly a little bit of indecision. Tried to turn, but Solachita read it all the way and just falls on the ball. Kodmani provided for the first goal, and a very clever off-the-ball run, and nearly had a chance of her own. And yes, as I was saying, the Round 15 Football New South Wales League One Women's Review available. That'll be out on the Football New South Wales League's Facebook page later tonight, and Justin Davies right next to me, currently typing up the notes. Well, Justin Davies with a detailed wrap of this game and then a brief summary of the other 5 games for the round. That's what Justin is That's a work in progress for Justin, as there's Russo winning the foul there against her other number 15 Libnios, or fellow number 15 Libnios. Oh. There's a decent ball to Baker, and Baker, the touch will be a corner. Last touch possibly off Milton, but yes, well, I say Justin Davies is doing notes for this game. I'm not sure what the priority is. The report or the souvlaki and chips and pita bread that Davies is currently working their way through. See, I was smart. I ate my food before the game. And Justin, well, that's a goal kick, by the way. Justin can't exactly claim that there were time constraints, because you got here before I did. So as the throw-in is aimed down the line, and I think Daniela didn't get the header she wanted. So it's Russo. And then Daniela again, back to her skipper. It could open up on the far side, but Tomilic miscued the pass. So Palmer towards Baker. Great tackle that. Excellent challenge, and that's what was required. Brekic, more towards the middle part of the field. By the way, in the interest of completeness, because I've mentioned all the other games in the top division NPL Women's for this weekend, might as well talk about the two games that were played yesterday. And why not start with the game I called yesterday at the Arctic Circle, because University of New South Wales were the latest team to be hit with the Sky Hamar wrecking ball, as Sky Hamar scored her 18th goal of the season to give Spirit a 1-0 win over UNSW. That was yesterday afternoon, and then yesterday evening at what I can only assume was an absolutely freezing North Taramara recreation area. But the Tigers were in red-hot attacking form, defeating the Jets 6-2. There's a shot from Rutstein. It dips and into the breadbasket for Solicido. And, oh, okay. So I think possibly a player down for each side. Apologies, I can't quite see, but Gabriella Archidiacono has quite smartly stopped the play. We might see the physios on shortly. In fact, you can see Tomilic over to the Marconi bench, possibly. I mean, you still need hydration even with the weather as cold as it is, but might be a chance for some instructions as well. In fact, I think so I was just counting Marconi players. So they're all back up, but the St. George physio is on the field. And since again, apologies, can't quite see who is requiring the treatment. But if you've just joined us, thanks for tuning in for the Round 15 League One Women's featured game here at Barton Park in Bankshire. And St. George leading by a goal to nil. Very classy finish from Danielle Rutstein after a brilliant assist from Janan Kodmani. Actually now, see the majority of the St. George players also over to the bench for an unofficial hydration break, and I think I can see coaches giving instructions as well. Okay, so Justin Davies, eagle-eyed, telling me it might be Janan Kodmani actually who requires some assistance. Okay, so good to see that she's back on her feet. She will need to leave the field of play. And just, well, Nicole Bear's just making sure Janan was okay, but hopefully, because she's walking off unassisted, hopefully we'll see St. George's number 10 back on the field shortly. So we will recommence play with an uncontested drop ball, which Sollicito picks up. And the ball beats Cryer, but she didn't get a touch, so St. George resume, but Marconi win it straight back. Breckage back to Sollicito. Now intercepted Baker. Thought about pulling the trigger. Eventually does so, and the deflection almost took it to a teammate. Here's Johnson up from the back. And Warren Johnson, I think, nominally a defender, but Johnson will show quite a bit of attacking intent if the opportunity presents itself, as Rutstein cleverly wins the throw. Now, a little bit of a slip. Kuptrich might have won out. And Kuptrich, well, the overlap is coming. I think that was Avila who shouted for the ball. Very clever. Got some room in front of her. Got 4 teammates in front of her as well. One of them is Urquhart. Urquhart, tried the return pass, but it was blocked. I think that was Nicole Beige. She's found Baker on halfway. And Beige continuing her run, but Rutstein will be interested in this. And the back pass has just enough mustard on it to get to Sollicito. Now Johnson beats Daniela to the ball, and Johnson trying to continue the move. Rutstein plays the 1-2, and then it is defended by Limnios. But attacking a throw-in coming up. Throw-in, defended by Breckage. Johnson. And Johnson, the footwork, leads to a corner, and the Saints leading the corner count 5-0 here as we're past the half-hour mark. More importantly, for Mark Greenfield's side, on the scoreboard leading by a goal to nil, courtesy of Danielle Rutstein. Now, Beige wants the variation off the corner. Beige goes direct. Garlich tried to flick it on. He's defended well in the air by the visitors. Here's Baker. And Baker towards Garlich. Good header from Breckage. Now, Garlich, good footwork from the defender. Now, Johnson getting more attacking involvement on this side. Good cross. Needs a couple of touches from Marconi to half clear. Then Baker tries for goal, and that's very uncharacteristic for the league's top scorer. That has gone over the big fence at what you might call the Carbiz end. Well, actually, I know who's on that. Carbiz advertisement. Let's call that the Courtney Vine end of Barton Park. So there's one thing that Barton Park and Spartan Park have in common. Courtney Vine on an advertisement. Love to see it. Now here's Garlich. Garlich firing a one to Rutstein. She's definitely onside. How's the cross? Defended well. There's a second ball on the field. There was a spectator trying to be helpful, but put too much on their throwback, and we don't have multi-ball for too long. Anyway, Baker lets it slip, and it is cleared. St. George, and it's Abby Rose Cryer settling for the throw-in, playing it off Urquhart. As Baker dropping a little bit deeper, looking for a teammate, and finds Rutstein. Rotstein crosses straight down Solicido's throat. Kick towards halfway. Palmer. His first to it in the air. It's that old adage, don't let the ball bounce. Palmer certainly didn't. Russo can't reel that in, and that'll be a kind of a easier one for Shelby Milton as well. Interesting, you don't often see that off frame. There's a little discussion in with a live ball between Kupchurich and Penny Bonavas, and what Bonavas might have seen in these opening exchanges. As the ball down the line, and good run from Kupchurich. She's got two plays in the middle. Under pressure now, and it's very good defending from St. George. But then they give it to Avila for Marconi. Flag stays down. Kupchurich again. And lays it off. Now, Avila. Cross blocked. And then St. George just play it out. A chance to regroup from this Marconi throw. And Bej plays it off an opponent, and yes, Vidakovic will pick it up. And Daniele. Herrera. And Dominic loses out. For Kodmani. Good to see she's back up and running. Nice pass to Palmer. Baker has runners. One of them's Kodmani, and she's definitely onside. She's through on goal. And Kodmani, big chance. Doesn't get the contact right, and credit to Marconi for getting pressure on at the very end. And Kodmani, we could see she will get up. Unaffected by the challenge, but Solicido's made another good save. As Garlich doesn't get the touch on it, but Bej most certainly does. And that will be Marconi throw. By the way, before I forget, the two sets of substitutes. Firstly, for St. George, the backup keeper is Caitlin Russell. The others, Angelina Manos, Ashley Katevsky, Jaslyn Moore, Sienna Bottle, and Anna Arujo. Marconi's bench. We've got Kira Cabrera, Charmaine Martinez, Chiara Fragamelli, Alana Lekov, Teresa Herrera, and Angelina Greicher. Tomic, the pass intercepted by Russo, but Herrera helps Marconi win it straight back. Kupchurich, and lets it run, then trying to get away from Bej. Good run. Here's Kupchurich, but then Bej didn't give up and is able to clear before Kupchurich could shoot. Straight ball headed by Johnson. And then Rotstein uses her body well to win the free kick. Half-time approaching here, 37th minute. Thereabouts at Bayside Council. St. George FC 1, Marconi Stallions 0. Eric Subihano here with the commentary from Barton Park. My first trip to this venue, and I'm thoroughly enjoying, I always enjoy ticking a new venue off the list. I also really enjoyed the double espresso and lamps of Laki with chips and pita bread I had earlier. This has been Canteen Watch with Eric Subihano, Barton Park edition. Actually, while I'm thinking about canteens, to be fair, I do spend most of my waking hours thinking about football canteens, but I really like the lamb gyros that had the Arctic Circle before Spirit versus UNSW yesterday. Always good. You get as is usual, you get chips with your lamb gyros at the Arctic Circle, and I hope one of the local kookaburras enjoyed the chip that it stole off my gyros as well, because that was quite a shock. Big tackle there. Johnson trying to pick up the scraps, and that's going to be a free kick. And in fact, it's also going to be a yellow card going to Ashley Limnios. Just to be clear, Justin, 38th minute yellow card for Ashley Limnios? Yes, I did. I actually did my first ever NPL Men's New South Wales match report last night. I typed most of it on my phone, which is not at all surprising that people have known me for a long time. I mean, it's my first one. I'm better than quite a few of the people who do it regularly. Anyway, back to Justin's match report. Just the reason I was thinking of that as Rutstein crosses, and it's off Limnios for a corner. 6th of the first half for the hosts. And yes, as part of match report duties, you've got to note down yellow cards in the minutes in which those yellow cards were incurred. That's why if I'm doing a men's game and I think it's a remote, I think the rider's doing it remotely. But back to that as Johnson delivers the corner. Is the header? I think that was Baker. Free header. Oh no, Beige. Okay, actually, I might need to stop guessing as to who that was. Oh, Abby Rose Cryer. Okay, so it only took me 3 goes to figure that out. Oh, it's better than normal. That's Abby Rose Cryer. Good off the ball movement. Shook off the defence at the set piece, headed the ball wide. By the way, shout out to Dale who's tuning in. And yes, you are right. It's quite cold here, Dale. By the way, I bet you loved the result at Northbridge Oval, huh? We know you did. Anyway. As Tomalic might have lost out, but she's able to go back. Now Solicido. Area is dropping deeper. I think they might have found a little bit of an outball. I think that's Avila on the far side. This looks like Shelby Milton. And then stringing together passes in their own territory. And now might open up for Brekic. Rutstein with the pressure. And Limnios will settle for the throw. Herrera shields it from Rutstein. And back to the skipper. And there's Johnson with the block. Brekic trying to run it out. And then, again, St. George staying very organised. And after some protest, it'll be take 2 for this Marconi throw-in. Now Rutstein putting the pressure, and Brekic, good ball to find Avila. But Marconi can't make anything of it. St. George try the quick throw. 42nd minute here at Bankshire. Another throw in for St. George. Work from Johnson. Aiming for Baker, I think, but Rutstein takes over instead. A loose touch allows Herrera in to break it up. And then Rutstein does not get the decision she was looking for. And Marconi, well, can't beat the pressure. Throw and aim towards Baker. Tries to roll past Brekic. It'll go back to a free kick. And by my ears, exactly one person in the stand disagreeing with that decision. I wish I had only one dissenter for my commentary, but that's another story. That's Baker, who, in addition to scoring millions of goals in this division over the years, also a very good set-piece taker. So how's the St. George captain going to do with this dead ball delivery? Actually, she will go direct, and it's swinging. It's a flying catch from Isabella Solicito. Solicito soared like an eagle through the air to catch that ball. Thanks for laughing at that, Justin Davies. No, Sydney City Eagles, may you rest in peace. But it's another good save. Yeah, she is. Solicito, from what I've observed in my time covering this competition, one of the best keepers in League One Women's. Not the best keeper, but one of the best keepers. Marconi sneak it through to Kupchurich. Once again, she'll run at Beige. Beige with the foot in there. Kept, I think, by Tomlic. And Tomlic might sneak it through. Kupchurich, the flag is up. The flag's up. By the way, big shout out to Megan, who's tuning in, which is, to be fair, kind of unnecessary because she's also here at Barton Park. But thanks for your support of the streams anyway, Megan. And intercepted by Baker. Eyes up. She'll go from long range, and that won't dip in time. So, Justin, did she ask if you wanted a hot chocolate? I would say that's nice of Megan to do her service for us hard-working Football New South Wales media. It's the time of year we'd love a warm drink at halftime. Thank you. I mean, that should be a requirement at every game if you ask me, but, So it's wrangled by Johnson. And Gulich, now under pressure. Good tackle from Daniela. And, well, Beige got the position there ahead of Kupchurich. Actually, probably should have realised it earlier. Just realised there's a Courtney Vine ad at both ends, so... How did I... 45 and a half minutes to figure that out. Well done, Eric. But, hey, guess what, Justin? Double Vine time. How good? Time for my Courtney Vine fun fact. Yeah, Courtney Vine used to be venue staff at Valentine Sports Park before starring for Sydney FC and scoring the winning penalty in the World Cup quarterfinal for the Matildas and all that. Okay, by the way, sorry, going quiet, just clarifying my hot chocolate order with Megan, but back to the action. And St. George, the ball that is intercepted by Brekic. Good, what a ball. Zinged it to Bonavas in the centre circle, and then further forward, supporting run coming. Now it's behind Kupchurich, which is unfortunate. I've had almost 2 minutes of time added on. So now, whatever more action we have before halftime, completely at the discretion of Gabriella Archidiacono. The ball towards Rutstein, and Amber Morris doesn't look like she's interested in raising the flag. Will go on. Rutstein assesses the options, aims it at Baker, and Baker will not reach that. And that's going to be a throw-in right by Marconi's defensive corner flag, if we have time to do so. Referee glances at the watch. Oh my gosh, there were some stoppages, so 3 minutes of time added on, but not a moment more. There's the halftime whistle. Looking good for the hosts, St. George FC. They're taking a 1-goal lead into the dressing sheds here at the Frank Arick stand. And at Barton Park, Daniel Rotstein with a lovely finish off the inside of the post, set up by Janan Kudmani. That gave St. George the lead, and it's halftime here in Bankshire. Eric Subihana here with the commentary for the League One Women's Match of the Round. We'll take a break of about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll be back for the second half. Enjoying your Sunday evening. Of course, how good. It's a long weekend. So no need to worry about work on Monday for a lot of us. And we certainly do hope that you're warmer wherever you're watching this than we are here at Barton Park. Plenty of long sleeves, gloves and blankets. If you missed any of the action, of course, you could just click back on the YouTube stream to see what you missed, but a summary of the opening 45 minutes here at Barton Park is that St. George FC lead Marconi Stallions by a 0-0, the goal coming courtesy of Daniel Rutstein, her 8th for the campaign. Now, I was trying to figure this out with Marconi at halftime. Myself and Justin Davies, the League One Women's reporter, they've made at least one sub. I can see number 13, Charmaine Martinez, is on the field. I do wonder possibly if they made more than one sub. Justin very cleverly using the web browser for the Football New South Wales Competitions website. There's the whistle from Gabriella Arjadiacono. Away we go. And he was able to find some half-time updates. Half-time League One Women's updates. Go us. But, well, go Justin. I didn't contribute to this at all. But at Majors Bay Reserve, it's looking good for the league leaders, Hills United, leading by 2-0 over Inter. And we didn't find it's even Hills leading courtesy of yet another goal for Ellen Rosenberg-Chimijar, as well as an own goal. While at, I think, Cook Park, the one in St Mary's, not the one in Mount Pritchard, it's Sutherland Strikers leading by a goal to nil over Nepean. Okay, so now, okay, well, we always haven't seen that one before. St George, the very start. Well, about the opening 60 seconds of the first half, played with 10 players because Tara Palmer was a little bit late coming back onto the field, but she's back on. It's all okay. And I'm sorry, I'm not smart enough to understand the joke Justin just told me. So, huh? Oh, sorry. Well, I'm not smart enough to understand that either, Justin. But Marquinez trying to run past Abby Rose Cryer, and St George have made a sub, according to Justin, who, of course, does need to keep track of this for his match report as part of the League One Women's Round 15 review. But number 18, Jaslyn Moore, is on for number 15, Genevieve Russo. As into Baker. And Baker's 3 plays in front of her, but Brekic sweeping it up, although I do suspect Rutstein might have been offside, but doesn't matter because Marconi have the ball with Marquinez. It's past the challenge. Bonavas plays it back to Herrera. Now Tomblic. Down the line, I think that's Limnios. Limnios, the only player booked in this game so far. Okay, so, Justin, do we agree Charmaine Marquinez is on for Sarah Urquhart? So that's the halftime sub. Hey. Long-time listeners, long-time sufferers on my commentary. Depends on how you view things, but, you know, not the best with halftime subs, but got there. Ahead of expectations, I would say. Normally it takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to figure out that kind of thing, but yes. This, just to confirm, that Marconi halftime switch, it looks to be a straight swap now, yeah, with Marquinez replacing Sarah Urquhart on the right side of Marconi's front 3. We might kind of run through the reminder of the whole lineups at the appropriate break in play, as Kvetkovski allowed to turn, finds Johnson on the right-hand side. Tracked by Daniele. Johnson, happy to be a little bit physical. Good crossing position. It's up, and Solicito catches easily. Back and forth in front of the Marconi bench, and then the decision going the way of Marconi. So here's the signal. Flat delivery, and might go through to Kupcharic, and Kupcharic blocked by Bej, and Bej making sure, I think she put her hands behind her back as well. Didn't want to take any risk of a handball, and Bej has got the decision as well. So Marconi continue to wait for a corner. So I would think St George FC winning by far the majority of the corners in the opening 45 minutes. Very short goal kick to Bej. And now under the pressure immediately, Palmer's done well to turn past 2 players. Finding Kvetkovski to Baker. This is a good passing move. Now that could be a little bit overrun, but it would be Avila finding Marquinez. And Marquinez down the line. Kupcharic. And Kupcharic looking for a run, but Bej has the two pullback. It wasn't the second piece of defending. We'll see Let's pull back slightly for Marconi free kick, and we're going to be pretty much right behind this. Get a perfect view of how this unfolds. So Bonavas, Marconi's top scorer with 7 for the season, now looking to possibly to try and set something up. Aimed at the far post, headed away by Rutstein. Kupchich roaming over to the far side, and there's Ivana Garlic. Strong run, wins the free kick, and that relieves the pressure. Whether to kind of finish off what I was mentioning at the end of the first half. Yes, Megan did get Justin and myself hot chocolates. Thanks, Megan. I thoroughly enjoyed my hot chocolate. I've noticed that Justin hasn't shown any gratitude towards you, but I'm sure you won't hold it against him. Okay, well. Oh, you had so little gratitude you didn't even want to get anything. Is that what you're saying? Okay, yeah. Yes. Okay, so by the way, as Justin tells me to concentrate, Talia Kupchich has been booked for Marconi. Do you reckon? No, didn't see anything dissent. I mean, it's like, yeah, didn't really see her involved in any kind of heavy challenges. But anyway, it's her Marconi team that has won a free kick. Long range, but they can fly in from this kind of angle. Emilia Vidakovic being very particular with the positioning of the 4-player wall. And they go direct, it's dipping, and it's in! It's in for Marconi's equaliser. What a brilliant goal over the wall, up and over, and we have the equaliser. St. George 1, Marconi 1. Well, Penny Bonavas, that's 8 for the season. Marconi's top scorer. Doing the damage once again. Sensational dead ball. There we go. Now, it's really going to liven things up. These two teams played out a 3-3 draw back in round 2. Actually, 3 of those goals coming after the 80th minute. As St. George on the move with Jaslyn Moore, and Moore denied by a great challenge from Amila. Solachita falls on the ball. There you go. Well, no clean sheets. No clean sheets this evening here at Barton Park. But certainly that's what the neutrals are more likely to want. And work back to Vidakovic and then out to Garlic. Garlic trying to drop one over the top, and I think the flag's going to go up. Flag is up from Mariano Ayana, assistant on the far side. And Kodmani starting to run a little bit too early. Milton to restart. Kupchich can't make it stick. And the 1-2. Now Bonavas. Kupchich touch off the back, and she might make it work. Strong run here. Still on. Kupchich goes. Tomlic. And does she win the corner? No, she does not. Excellent defending from Nicole Berge. Well, Justin, I mean, probably more detail than I need. What minute did Penny Bonavas score in? 52nd? Is 53rd? Oh, so close. as that decision go the way of St. George. And the referee is just a warning there. Possibly to Daniele. Now, St. George might not have taken that from the correct spot. I'll try again. Okay, so ball moved back behind halfway from a St. George perspective. Now Garlich delivers. Run out by Limnios for Marconi. 1-2 exchanges passes. That's nice work, but Limnios is not enjoying a lot of space here, and she's given away the free kick. Johnson for a long free kick. Second ball picked up by Palmer. Now Baker trying to turn, does so. Holding off a second defender. Baker shoots, blocked by Milton. Besh trying the left side. Moore, great step over to buy space. And the cross, blocked by Milton. Jaslyn Moore, fresh legs, she was on at half-time. Milton gets another cross in, and excellent goalkeeping from Solocito. Now, Rutstein back in defence with Marconi. Will keep it moving with Tomilic. Brekic. Brekic gets it back from Limnios, I think that was. But Marconi will start again with the keeper. Little dink to Limnios. And they'll keep it on the far side. And it will not be kept in play. Now, St. George, their turn to build from the back. They might have found a way out. They're going to cross halfway, but then it's Tomilic slowing things down. St. George will keep it with a throw-in. And ball's retrieved. And Brekic might have got the jump there on Kodmani. So it's with Marconi. And then Marconi free kick. Just about at the hour mark here at Barton Park. 1-1 between St. George FC and Marconi Stallions in the League One Women's Match of the Round. It was Danielle Rutstein who opened the scoring for St. George, her 8th goal of the season. That was on 21 minutes. And in the 53rd minute, a Penny Bonavas free kick. Coincidentally, her 8th of the season as well. That was Marconi's equaliser in a game that is proving to be very interesting. Only 4 points separating these two teams heading into this round. St. George in 6th, 1 point off the top 4 finals place. Marconi in 3rd. Played up by Marquinez. Kupchurich. Now, Garlich couldn't find a teammate, so it's Tomilic. And then Garlich trying her best, and then Marconi ball. stoppage. And Marconi player receiving treatment. Justin, do you see who that was? Or is that too far for both of us? Yeah. I see it too. Actually, I reckon that's Talia Kupchirich. So she's been helped to her feet, but Kupchirich will have to be off the field of play. Actually, there's going to be some further checks. So Marconi, in fact, possibly... Let me just count the jerseys. Are they preparing a sub? No, they're not. So they'll play with... I'll have to play with 10 for the time being. And, yeah, the throw-in as Kupchirich continues to receive treatment on the far side. Decent first touch, but then that's cleaned up by St. George. Kodmani lays it off. Baker, and that's lovely work to release Abby Rose Cryer. Now, it's dealt with before Moore intercepts the clearance, and then Milton with an excellent tackle. But they might have given it away. Kodmani couldn't slip it through to Baker. Daniele on the 50-50 and then straight into a wall. Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate for Bonavas. He might have been pushed further forward as Kupchirich still off the field. Marconi still down to 10 players. Moore trying to shake off the other number 18. Laura Malagonabila has... Johnson backwards, tries to leave it for Garlich, and Daniela makes a nuisance of herself, but not enough to win the ball back. Kupchirich, good to see back to her feet. Not exactly moving freely, at least as well as I can see things on the far side, but Marconi back to their full complement of players. Hopefully it's something she can run off. Now, there she switches. And by the way, as I saw behind the goal, a brief glimpse of my good friend, Football New South Wales photographer, Angela Deporbay, who is she's wearing more winter gear than you can find in a shop, but you've got to stay warm however you can. And you'll see her great photos of this game on the Football New South Wales League socials during the week, as it's laid off. And Johnson, Marconi double up on Johnson, but St. George, number 13, wins a free kick. So, wait, 3 in the wall, set by Solicito. I think that'll be Baker over the dead ball. Baker clips it in. Flick on from Johnson. Brekic, excellent, more excellent defending from Marconi's captain. Bash forward, and then the header from Herrera. It's the little third dugout that the refs, well, they make them for refs, and then I never see refs use them for anything. Like, not even gear or putting a bag there, just no. See, on occasion, you remember on occasion photographers using them for shelter? Oh, the refs. Oh, yeah, it's... Actually, yeah, thank you for reminding me of ref assessors. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Now, Jaslyn Moore, Palmer. Now Baker. Baker wants it on the right foot and shoots, but he'll hit the big fence. Now, substitution coming up. It's going to be for Marconi. And, well, perhaps it was going to happen anyway. I'm sure the knock wouldn't have helped, but been an industrious shift for Talia Kupchirich. Battled hard against that strong St. George backline, and she will make way. As Justin and I wait patiently for this player to turn around. And we continue to wait. Now we're hoping Marconi play it left, so that player has to turn around. Anyway, on we go with a long goal kick from Solicito. Flick on there. Tomlich there, and we can see, is that Angelina Grajce, number 42? Yes, she's the replacement for Kupchurich. I think it's a straight swap. She's gone to centre forward for Marconi. Beige trying to run it out. Decides to go back, and then I think she tried to win a throw in ball. She won a free kick instead, which is, I think she would prefer. And then Beige goes long. Little flick, but doesn't get past Herrera. And Marconi keeps stepping up as St. George work it backward. Vidakovic switching it to Cryer. Marconi still being patient, but Marconi keep stepping up, and then a little win for the visitors. As ball goes out. Avila, and now Martinez trying to go round Cryer, but nothing doing. Baker will have to shield it against Milton. Milton tried to get the jump, and the second defender was Tomilic, and that was necessary from a Marconi perspective because Baker was about to turn and find some space in front of her. Well, that could be a good ball from Baker. Brekic, excellent defending. Now, room for Daniele. And through ball, so here's Grajce. Left side of the box. Tries to step over. Beige doesn't go for any of the fakes. Tackle on the edge of the box. Herrera. Long range shot, and Vidakovic. It's going to be pretty straightforward for her to gather. Did I hear a spectator talk about time wasting? It's 1-1. That wouldn't make any sense for anyone to talk. That's like the least sensible thing to say. Look. There's only one person at Barton Park who should be talking nonsense, and that's me. As that's going to be a free kick. Good footwork and good persistence from Tomilic. Just running through a crowd, and now possibly a chance to chuck some defenders forward for a set piece. Brekic is already in the mixer, waiting patiently, hoping for the ball to come her way. That's Bonavas, who delivers. Good ball. And can Marconi get a shot away? The layoff. Herrera. Now Limnios. She's up from the back as well. Great defending, and now is there a chance to break? Palmer. And, well, no, Marconi. Good work in preventing the transition play. And now it's Moore for St. George. And Johnson, good footwork. I think that's Kodmani, two in front of her. One of them's Baker. It was missed by Avila, but Marconi grateful that Martinez was round on the cover. Final 20 minutes of regulation here. St. George 1, Marconi 1. Goals Daniel Rotstein for Marconi. Penny Bonavas. Sorry, Daniel Rotstein for St. George. Penny Bonavas for Marconi. Well, going back to the round 2 game between these two. Well, there we go. So Rotstein scored in that one in round 2 as well, as did Penny Bonavas, but then the more notable part. Round 2 was a 3-3 draw between these two teams at the Palace, Marconi Stadium. Header from Garlich there but St. George thought they'd won it when Jordan Baker scored in the 80th minute, then Daniel Rutstein scored in the 88th minute. But it was a Penny Bonifaz 93rd minute equaliser that meant it was a share of the spoils. And Marconi, actually, it's going to be quite hard for me to explain, but if you break the game up into 15-minute periods, the last 15 minutes actually quite productive for Marconi this season. They got a fair amount of their goals late on, but it's also the case for St. George. So, anyway, Marconi set piece. Right into the middle. It's going to be over Brekic, and there could be a chance. And oh, well, I think that was Tomilic in the end. Had to improvise. It was kind of a slow looping ball. Had to generate all the power. And she did her best, but it was saved by Vidakovic. Now we have a stoppage. Got to take head knock seriously, and there's the signal from Gabriela Archidiacono. So we are going to see the St. George physio, I think. She signaled for it. She's still signaling for them. Yep, they've seen it now. Well, I mean, I'm the last person who can criticize someone for not seeing something far away instantly, but yes, there we go. So we will have a break in play. Now, who knows how this one will go, but of course, there are other games being streamed, so let's see what's happening on the various YouTube streams. I do know that Ashley Borg, apparently he's having a great time at Cromer Park. Good for you, Ashley. And, well, okay, but you know who's not having a good time at Cromer Park? The home team, because late on in the Northern Beaches, thumbs up from Megan, was Western Sydney Wanderers Academy leading by a goal to nil. That's very late on. That's only a few minutes left in that one. So, just remember, I did tell a couple of people, I think the Wanderers will win this one, so I'm a few minutes away from being right. Yes, that's what I love. But, well, one of my favorite things. Just as I tell people all the time, the most annoying thing about me is that I'm right. So I think that's Lauren Johnson now is going to have to stretching out a cramp. And meanwhile, very late on at Petermore Field. Oh, by the way, Petermore Field at this time of the year, rest in peace to anyone who was at that game. Oh, that just looks cold. But anyway, Olympic leading Clayton Ravens by 2-0. And then they've relayed that pitch, and at Sydney Union it's already destroyed, judging by what the stream Justin is showing me. But at Camperdown, Sydney Uni 1, Illawarra Stingrays 2. St. George cooking up a double sub. Oh no, a double sub on the far side of the field. Ay. Abby Rose-Cryer, one of the players who will be coming off. In fact, you do wonder if they're making double sub. Must be Lauren Johnson's the other one, because it looks like they've just indicated that she can't continue. Oh no, it's not going to be Lauren Johnson. So Nicole Beige is the other player to make way. So double sub cooked up by Mark Greenfield. They're also, for the time being, down to 10 players. I see number 75, Ana Arujo. It's not often you do a first grade game with a 74 and a 75. Those are very, Girls Youth League under 15 shirt numbers, but yes, the implication would be that, well, we know this with Ivana Galic's mid-season transfer, but perhaps Arujo's as well. 7, and thank you, Justin, for being my shirt number spotter. So the other player, a player with a lot of experience in this division, number 17, is Ashley Katevsky. I'm just going to test my memory. Ashley Katevsky, formerly of South Coast Flame? Yes. Hooray. Good. Go me. And because I did a couple of scores, games that are in progress but about to finish, other scores. Yesterday in League One Women's, Blacktown got burnt after their trip to the South Coast, losing 2-1 to the Flame. That joke will never, ever get old. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the furnace. Am I right, Justin? Now, good tackle from Brekic and a St. George throw. And yesterday in NPL Women's, Sky Halmarek's 95th minute winner. That was a Spirit 1-0 win for Spirit over UNSW. Pretty much the last kick of the game in the game I called yesterday at the Arctic Circle. The Saturday night game, Northern Tigers beating Newcastle Jets by 6-2. And I wonder if Annabelle Banfield has defrosted yet from calling a night game at North Turramurra. Annabelle Banfield, former player in this division, by the way, with Interlions. And the earlier kickoffs in NPL Women's, it was, well, Mount Druitt got stampeded at Northbridge Oval, losing 2-0 to Bulls FC Academy. And in the NPL Women's match of the round, the main story is Ashley Croft's 100th goal across NPL First Grade and Sapphire Cup. I suppose it's also important that RPL Leichhardt won by 2-1. Arujo with the through ball. More. That's another great tackle by Brekic. Of course, in the box, so had to get that right, and she surely did. Now, as one person called for a throw-in, no, it will in fact be a corner. All except one play back from Marconi, as it's the header and it's around the back. Garlich is the closest to it, she will not keep that in play. Now, as Justin is very wisely pointed out, St. George are actually still playing with 10 players. So, this is a very long check from the physios here. But if you're going to be short-handed, this is pretty much where you'd want the ball, as far away from the goal as possible. To be clarified, as far away from the goal you're defending as possible. 78th minute here at Barton Park. 1-1 between St. George FC and Marconi. Yeah. Limnios. Good tackle to prevent the cross. St. George FC attacking throw-in coming up. Courtesy of various group chats. They got another League One women's update. Apparently Grace Considine has scored for Sutherland against Nepean. Yeah. So she was the scorer of that goal. That's Sutherland leading 1-0 at the break at Cook Park. Now the ball's gone out. The ball's gone out, so that will end that attack. Now, well, pressure's coming, and Solitude had to hurry. Only played as far as Arujo. And Marconi do eventually. A little bit harem-scarum, but they found their way out. Marquinez did her best, but the ball runs away from her. Thrown in quickly to Baker. Baker. Headed by Brekic. Baker again. Kickoff goes backwards to Garlich. Ball. Rutstein. Now, there is a St. George player waiting to come on. I don't think that's Lauren Johnson either, so I think they finally decided that Lauren Johnson can take no further part. Of course, you know my vision. That might actually be Lauren Johnson. I don't. It's you never know with me. As Garlich goes back to Vidakovic. That St. George player continues to wait patiently in front of the referee's dugout. But, you know, from a St. George perspective, it's safe as long as you have the ball. But there could be something more with Rutstein, who has options in the middle. One of them is Kodmani. A bit of space here. Tried the through ball. Perhaps he could have shot instead. Still could be alive. Dink to Baker. And Baker tackled. Finally back on. Lauren Johnson. After all that. So it actually was. So Lauren Johnson was fielded on time. Time, my apologies. The treatment was for number 6, Tara Palmer. And then just to add to my confusion is, well, if Lauren Johnson goes off now, that's going to be quite embarrassing. Oh yeah, there we go. Yes, well, that's okay. We're going to see a keeper sub. Yes, and you're lucky I'm here, Justin, because you looked away at the crucial moment. So Caitlin Russell is going to be on for St. George. Oh. blessed. We get to see a keeper sub, and not for an injury or a red card, just a keeper sub. Good stuff. So Russell on for Vidakovic, and I just need to check who's made way. Move on to Johnson. Oh, sorry, we need to check who's come on. So it was a double sub that Mark Greenfield had just made. Do I see a 14? I'm going with that, or whoever that is. The new player's taking the 14. I think Angelina Manos has replaced Lauren Johnson. Both kind of generally used as defenders from what I've seen of St. George this season, so that would make sense. And hooked over. It's out near that Kettle Chips advertising board. I could go for some Kettle Chips right now. Anything to take my mind off the cold. Now work back to Brekic. And off the knee of Katevsky. Right chair. Holds it up. Now it could be a through ball opportunity. It could be a chance. No, the flag is up. Flag, so it's not going to count, but nevertheless, Caitlin Russell straight in the action with an excellent sliding tackle at the edge of her area. Yeah, so Justin Davies, would you think there was some fair bit of venom in that sliding challenge there? Thank you. Caitlin Russell, also a futsal player with South Coast Taipans. A league, the other league that Justin Davies covers. And that's Futsal Premier League 2, as, by the way, competition buys are always awkward. And by the way, thoughts with Southeast Phoenix as Baker takes an awkward tumble, and it's going to be a St. George free kick, but Southeast Phoenix withdrew from senior comps this year, so that's why we do have a bye in League One Women's at only 13 teams. But there won't be a bye in Futsal Premier League 2 next year because Central Coast United have joined that wonderful competition. Vetkovsky, and then ball, I think, from Avila. Bonavas. Gaiche's the closest to it, but sweeper keeper there, and a booming kick from Vidakovic, which could go all the way over the top to Baker. Across the box. Milton blocks it. '84th minute here in Bangshaw. Baker to take the throw. Kodmani up into the air. Palmer. Got the jump on Daniele, but Saints going backwards. Rotstein, and now Manos. And I think Sewell, St. George free kick. Then there can only be for what I think descent, they call descent by water action. It's Penny Bonavas, isn't it? Yeah. So Penny Bonavas into Gabriella Archidiacono's notebook. And as Greiche disputes the positioning of this free kick, it's, even at this distance, even I can tell that's not 10 yards, but I think yep, she does eventually retreat the required distance, and Garlich is going to be, well, late drama on the Northern Beaches. Manly United have found an equaliser somehow, so it finishes 1-1 between them and Wanderers Academy. So close to being right. Anyway, Garlich to deliver. Keepers up, might not get there, so Brekic heads. Could be up for grabs. Brekic very vital because she got to the ball ahead of Jordan Baker. And then off St. George into the fence. So Marconi survive. Now, by the way, this would be a rogue thing to say during commentary. Would you mind checking if Chloe O'Brien played for Manly? Just She started. Okay, here you go. That's not actually relevant at all to this game. But as St. George win it in opposition territory, but then they run into breakage. Now Greiche can't make it stick. So it's played left to Araujo. Araujo finds the open player. I think that's Manos. St. George try far side. Baker aiming centrally. Would have been missed. It was missed by Milton. Round on the cover is Avila. Avila will clear. Now, Marconi just can't find the out ball. Who knows? The visitors need cool heads because St. George, the better of the territory in the recent minutes, but to be fair to Marconi's defence, they're not letting any shots through. Baker stayed out wide. Good crossing position, and the keeper's up. Great goalkeeping from Solacito. They read the flight of the ball well, and a very safe pair of hands. The kick is allowed to bounce, and Katevsky brings it down. Jaslyn Moore. Araujo. Araujo, I think, shaping like she wanted to cut inside. Araujo might get a second go at it. Tomalic, a little back here to find Marquinez, but Marquinez loses out. Greiche pressing from the front, but St. George copped a lot of the ball as Garlich crosses halfway. Palmer. I think we'll go on because St. George still have it with Manos. And Baker. And Baker doing the best to keep hold of the ball. Clean tackle. According to the ref. Katevsky. Katevsky, and I think Araujo had stopped a run, so Marquinez will do what all defenders love doing, shielding the ball over the goal line. Marconi getting ready for a sub. A new player for these last few minutes. So Helene and Daniela is making way. Back to the usual ritual of waiting to see who's coming on. Okay, well, it's good as Justin Davies continues to help me. Of course, to be fair, I'm wearing a headset that blocks my ears, so I'm surprised I can hear as much as I can. Apparently, assistant referee closest to us, Amber Morris, has said 5 minutes of time added on. We do also have an NPL women's full-time result, so the Ravens had hopes of winning at Petermore Field, but Olympic said nevermore, winning by 3-0 in Belmore. So that is either a literature reference or a Simpsons reference, depending on your interests, or both, I suppose. Okay. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, we could say Kira Cabrera, number 12. That's on for Marconi, chasing the ball, but Garlich just making sure it goes out of play. And by the way, our other NPL women's full-time score, well, Illawarra Stingrays will be tickle pink with how this away trip has gone. They've defeated Sydney University by 2-1. And Justin Davies making their way, I think, over to the tunnel to get post-match quotes. And we are in stoppage time here. Is there going to be a late hero? As Bonavas gets past the challenge. Through ball to Cabrera. And Cabrera doing her best. Garlich has the position now. Who's the touch off last? Cabrera did well to win a corner. Marconi haven't had many corners, but this could be their chance. Angela Deporbay. One last movement to get in position. A short corner. And a header. Well, I think might have taken it off her teammate. I think it was Brekic flying in at the back post. She's got to get back. St. George have 3 up. And that diagonal is not going to get to Baker because Avila is sharp. Tomalic. And then Garlic zooms one to Arujo, and there's a player in the middle. They've got to stay on side. Well, it's dealt with. And Martinez flicks it around a player. The second defender is Tara Palmer. There's a decent ball to Kvetkovski. And Kvetkovski, Jordan Baker's going to chase this. It's going to run away, I think, and Solicitor will take over. So that 90 seconds of time added on. And good turn there for Marconi. Right in the challenge as well. I think the shots from the bench were to aim for Cara Cabrera. Instead, Marconi centrally. And then Avila under pressure. Has to get past 2, and she's quick enough to do so, even in the 93rd minute. Now, can Cabrera get to this? Instead, Greicho would try her best, but out. Now, Brekic, another clean tackle. Oh, center for a Chavapi roll there, Daniela Brekic. Now, Kvetkovski working it backwards, then it's played forward. Now, good energy from Tomalic. And the decision. Oh, hang on. What's happening here? It's Marconi. He'll have the ball. And back underway, and Arujo was intercepting. She might have lost out, but St. George. Can they make the telling attack? Well, not like that. And the wide player in a bit of space is Martinez. Cabrera wants it direct. Cabrera. Then Jaslyn Moore has to defend. Down the line to Arujo. And was that stolen by Tomalic? Oh, that's going to be a free kick to Marconi. And I have to say we're close to last chance saloon. And well, of course, there's a sub-keeper there. On for St. George now. Caitlin Russell is already shouting out the instructions. Now, Bonavas. Can she get it spot on? It's the header from Brekic, and it's going to loop up and be caught by Caitlin Russell. Now, thank you to whoever uploaded this score very quickly onto Dribble. I can report full-time score in Lisero. 2-2 draw between Central Coast Mariners and Camden Tigers. Might as well do an early shout-out to the goal scorer. So it was Natalia O'Driscoll and Peyton Scalay for the Mariners, Chantel Barnard and Diana Corona for Camden. Brekic shot didn't. Big swing, but not a lot of contact. And then Palmer. Palmer with the through ball. Rougeau, it's decent effort. 2 Marconi defenders getting her way. And St. George aware that time is of the essence. 5.5 minutes of time added on we've had so far. Baker goes for distance. Yeah, that's the full-time whistle. So the points are shared here at Barton Park. 1-1 between St. George FC and Marconi Stallions is how it ends up. Daniel Rotstein's 8th goal of the season was what opened the scoring for St. George in the 21st minute, set up by a wonderful pass from Janan Kodmani. And Marconi's equaliser in the 53rd minute. That wasn't bad either. Penny Bonavas, 25th free kick. Coincidentally, her 8th of the season as well. Plenty of endeavour. A full-hearted game, which is what you love to see. But no more goals. And it finishes 1-1 between these two teams who are battling for finals positions in League One Women's at the end of the season. One last shout-out to Justin Davies, who's currently at work compiling the Football New South Wales League One Women's Round 15 review. That'll be available on the Football New South Wales League's Facebook page later this evening. And thanks, as always, to Mark Stavroulakis for uploading our match reports. And for the fans of my commentary, my next assignment, I'm on the Northern Beaches on Sunday, 15th of June, a 3 p.m. kickoff between Manly United and Macarthur Rams in NPL Women's, a rematch of the 2017 NPL Women's Grand Final. But yes, from the very cold Barton Park, this is Eric Subihano signing off on behalf of Football New South Wales, our camera operator Rob, and our broadcast partner Sportscast. We thank you for your support. Please do your best. Please do whatever you can to stay warm, because it's so cold at this time of year. And protect the dolls in your life. Get enough coffee to make yourself feel good, and we will see you soon.